Did you record? There we go. Now we're good. So, we're casting a circle of light. And what we're going to do tonight is take a look at the couple of pages in the book Resurrection. The pages we're going to do is page 75 to 81. If you don't have the book, I did put in most of the different chats the pages so that you could refer to them. Although there have been lots of times that we have done this and people haven't had the book, and we've just been able to go on and sort of see how it all shows up, and everybody seems pretty good with it. So we're going to be talking about releasing attachments to those who have harmed us. We're going to talk about clearing blocks to seeing other people in their lights. And of course, that my very favorite one, healing more judgment that keeps us feeling separate from others and from our higher selves, as well as whatever it is that you all may have questions about or comments on, things you want to talk about. That is always open, and you can use the chat if you would like. You can raise your hand, and I'm happy to give you the floor to talk out loud if that's where you're comfortable at. It is perfect. However it shows up. So may it be with the blessings, blessings, blessings of Source that we continue to remember that we are all one, that love is the only truth, and that we all are going up in frequency with all of the love, all the joy, all the clarity, the wonder that is possible. So with that, we say Aho and Amen. And normally what I would do is just kind of give you some ideas about what we're doing here in the text. So this text, let me tell you a little story. Let me just tell you a story where this all came from. So I have been working with Paul's books since 2016. And I am that person who started with I am the word, read 3 pages, fall asleep, wake up 15, 20 minutes later, read 3 more pages, fall asleep. And it took forever for me to get through that book. And I spent a lot of time telling the person who recommended it to me, like, I'll get it. I don't understand. Why am I reading this book? And she just kept saying, keep going, keep going. And since then, I have read all the books. Although, to be fair, I picked up the Book of Freedom tonight, which is the book that we're going to take pieces from next time. And it has almost no underlines. I write in my books. I'll give all of you a healing, that bothers. Nothing. Although I have looked at it and read part of it. I don't know, how that all happened, but I have read all of the books. I've taught from most of the books. And this time I have been asking the question all through the month of December. How can I keep helping myself move the ideas that I have around people who create energy to harm, people who do bad things that I just can't understand. And when it came time to pick the book, I looked at all the books that I have sitting out, and I just ran my fingers along them, picked up the Book of Resurrection, and opened it up to the very first page that was there. And what I found was this lovely little post-it note that you all probably couldn't read. But it says, in re-seeing them, you bring both of you into the light. And I was like, oh, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is. And it was actually stuck on page 77, which is where they talk about, the one who has harmed you as a child was provoked to that harm through his or her own history. And I was like, this is the answer to my question. And so this is going to be the one that we talk about. Now, you may or may not have any experience with these books. Totally fine. It is not a requirement to have even heard of Paul Selig to participate in the Healing Circle, because it's an opportunity to learn. So that's where I'm coming from with this. I would love it if you all want to put into the chat, or you want to, say it out loud to yourself. How did you come to Paul's work? Or do you have a favorite book? Or maybe you're like, I don't know squat about any of this stuff, but I didn't have anything to do tonight and decided to pop in and hang with you for a little bit of time. But go ahead and answer any one of those questions so we can get to know each other. Some of us have been friends for a while, and some of us are new friends and all of that. So yeah, Janelyn says a friend recommended the book and she found it hard to read at the time. She's going to try listening to it. And to be honest, I have noticed that I'm more of an auditory learner. So I have it on Audible, and I listen to it when I go out and walk. I have a friend who we were just talking about it, and she's like, I could never listen to it when I was walking because I have to just be still and kind of process it and really work through it. Perfect for that way as well. So, however it shows up. All right, Judy, let's see if we can do this.
Hi,
Let's
everybody.
see.
I'm Judy. I'm from Toronto. I met Bonnie just recently in the Costa Rica retreat that Paul Selig was hosting. It was fantastic. And I was alone and I didn't know anybody. And Bonnie was just so friendly and made me feel like the whole week was perfect. So I've been looking, studying, exploring Paul's work since I think of 2012. I heard him on a podcast and I thought he was really humble and he said things that really resonated to me. So I'm really looking forward to this healing circle, and it's really nice meeting all of you. Thanks for hosting,
Yay.
Bonnie.
Yay. Fabulous. Let's see. Let's see if I can just do all this stuff. There. Oh, I'm so glad you all are willing to go on this journey with me. So Trisha said she found hiking a while ago and listened to the books of Word. Really liked watching his videos. That's awesome. I think that is fabulous. And Pamela said she learned to Paul in 2020 from a I Am the Word class directed by a New Thought minister. How cool is that? She's read all of them, listened to all of them, and Word is integral to her life. That's really cool. I actually have some other friends who learned about the work through their ministry. So that is really cool. And yeah, Jill says she probably learned about Paul's work through me. We did a lot of book clubs around here. Jill actually lives fairly close to me. She said when we did a book club about 8 years ago. Dang. And we have done I Am the Word. Here's my challenge. If anybody ever wants to know why I don't do a book from beginning to end, is I actually just did the A World Made New, and what I discovered is that it's really challenging to bring new people in. Like, as you're reading the book, people are like, people, oh, you're on page 89. Oh, well, I've already missed half the book. I'm not going to join now. And so I really love the format of just taking a section of the book or a piece of the book, a thought of the book, and working with that. And that's one of the things I learned when I did those book clubs with Jill is, we had a huge group and then it kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller because people didn't want to join. So yeah. And then Casey said, it's been a student since 2018 when my sister sent me the first 3 books. I've read and listened to all of them. Your favorite book is Loving Creation. Oh, I love that. So if you have a favorite book, like I already knew that we were doing the Book of Freedom next, but if you have a favorite book or if you have a favorite attunement, they used to be called Claims of Truth. If you have a favorite hey, let me know. You can let me know here. You can send me a message because I would love to add it to the calendar so that, we can incorporate it into the conversation because it doesn't matter to me what book we do or what concept we talk about. It's all really good healing and really great information. So, yeah. Oh yeah, don't do that book. No, I'm just kidding. There is no that book. Jill says the Book of Knowing and Worth. I have to say, Knowing and Worth for a long time was my favorite. And Loving Creation was the book that I just did not understand. I didn't get it. I think it says something about myself. But anyway, it is all fabulous. So, because we're here to talk about the healing piece that goes along with the book, I do want to take just a couple minutes and let you know that I have been doing healing work since 2016. I've probably done it in many, many lifetimes. It didn't come to me until 2016, but I have been teaching a course called Mastery of Your Information for the last 6 years. And it actually is a course that I kind of think of it like it runs parallel to what Paul Selig does, because the guides who Paul refers to as the guides, Melchizedek, actually hold the container of mastery of your information, and we work with them. And I always say we because I just became a single teacher this first round in September, so sometimes you'll hear me say we, but I work directly with Melchizedek just like Paul does, so it's kind of like the healing alchemy track of what's going on in the world, and then the Paul Selig track that's going on in the world, and it's all working together to take it up in frequency. So I love the idea of bringing the two of them together, that piece where you're like, hey, did you know there was a lot of healing going on in this book? And that's part of what we're going to talk about tonight. And you'll see me like moving my hands, waving my hands. Sometimes I'm creating designs. That's all energy. If you have any questions or anything, you find yourself going, oh my God, what is she doing? Feel free to ask because I am happy to give you the answer for that. I did cast a circle of light when we started tonight, and that's what I do in all of my classes in the healing circle, and we are literally sitting in a container of light. If you are clairvoyant, please feel free to pop into the chat what you see, but we are sitting in a circle of light, and my healing team and Melchizedek are holding this container. So, we're not letting anything that would create any havoc come into the container. But I am going to talk about some healing pieces. So, any questions? Put them in the chat. I can keep up with all of it. Kate says her favorite book is A World Made New. It's my favorite book too. I just absolutely loved. I got so excited about that book this last year teaching that. So here we are on page 75. What you have chosen is to rearticulate at the cost of the known. And the choice to rearticulate at the cost of the known implies that all things must be made new, including the foundation of identity that you have known yourself through. If you've ever had a moment where you're like, huh, I get it. Because that's just like, okay, if we're going to take things up in frequency, if we're going to re-see things, you only have so much space in your brain, so there's gonna have to be some stuff that moves out while some other stuff moves in. Basically what they're saying. And they talk about, we know what airplanes look like and we know what a log cabin looks like, but one of the things that we sometimes struggle with is that idea of being a higher self, the monad being expressed, lifting us up in vibration, and to understand that everything is an agreement. And we all have agreements to be together tonight. I love that. And right here we get to release some more attachments that we have. And in the healing alchemy world, that is clearing karma, any karma that can be cleared between all of the people who are here in the circle tonight, clearing karma with their friends, their family, their close relations, as well as clearing karma between any and all of us, so that we know that we all are love and truth. We're going to go ahead and clear more karma. That's always a fabulous thing. That is what we are here on the planet to do. And then we're also going to rescind any invitations. So I'm going to ask Source to please rescind any invitations, any and all invitations that are available for everybody who is here tonight, because Lord knows we don't need any extra stuff that we are carrying around. Happy to do all of that as well. So here we are, back to the book, The Rearticulation of History. I love that they say we're not whitewashing anything. We're not pretending that it didn't happen. What we are doing is bringing in high frequencies to whatever has happened in our past and transforming the pain, the fear, the anger, those things that are attached to the history that we have. And as we can move more of the pain, for example, that might be attached to something that we have been carrying around, we get to be more neutral. We get to be in a place where we're just like, oh, yes, that happened. Yes, it really sucked. And yes, I learned a lot from it. And the guides are quick to let us know that all of it has had its genesis in the denial of the divine. And I love that it's just really clear. Like everything goes back to where we believe that, God wasn't real. God couldn't have been there in that situation. There must be something, wrong with me. All of that is what it comes back to. Over and over again, it just keeps coming back to where we're like, oh yeah, we forgot that we are God having an experience. We forgot that we're all here just doing the best that we can. Any questions, any comments on any of that stuff? Does anybody have any I don't know, maybe. You can put it in the chat. You can also raise your hand. Happy to give you the microphone for a short period of time. Good question, Trisha. Trisha's asking if Genesis refers to the beginning. That's what we always think of it as, right? Interestingly enough, as I was reading it this time, I'm like, wait, Genesis? Come on, man, isn't that a frequency? And so I had to go and check in with a friend of mine who's really good at the frequency pieces. And Genesis is actually a frequency. If you're like me and you get a little triggered by the fact that it's a word that doesn't sound like it should be a frequency, join in on my healing. Genesis is, I wrote it down because I was like, am I going to remember it? Genesis is a frequency, high frequency. It's yellow with gold sparks. If knowing frequencies is your jam, feel free to write it down. Eventually you will just know it. It just drops in. You'll have an awareness of what it is, but it's really an awesome frequency to transform more of the denial of the divine. So I loved all the healing that is wrapped up into all of these texts. But they are talking about in the beginning as well, right? Frequency and in the beginning. Everything comes back to the denial of the divine. And Judy, I love that you're like, I'm feeling lots of energy moving. I actually had a sweatshirt on as I was getting ready to start, and I was like, rip the sweatshirt off. It's getting too hot in here. So awesome. If you're into having some mantras, some claims of truth, Paul and the guides now call them attunements. Here's a really good one. God is, God is, God is. And it doesn't have to be something that you say, out loud, that you're like making a production. It can literally be in your head. God is, God is, God is. Like that reminder of, oh yeah, that's right. This too, whatever I'm looking at, whoever is triggering me is God as well. God is, God is, God is. And it will start to transform more of whatever you happen to be experiencing. And they actually say the one who becomes a martyr because he holds a belief in suffering, the one who becomes a tyrant because he seeks to overpower others through his presence. They're acting out from the implicit denial of the divine. If you know somebody who is one of those people, maybe you know somebody who's just a martyr to the nth degree. I have a cousin who I swear if we had a cross at our reunion, they would have laid down on it and been like, oh, I'm a martyr. And I'm like, okay, you go, you do you, but wow, you do not have to suffer over any of that stuff. And then I'm sure all of us can think of a tyrant or two. Often they rise in power, in business, in politics, but all of that comes from the denial of the divine. Any questions? Anybody going, I'm not sure if I agree with that. Totally okay. I have a little note, release more attachments. So, for the fun of it, for those of you who have done this with me before, you go for it. Those of you who haven't, feel free to take a moment to ask yourself where you're holding on to a backpack of sorts. It might look like a briefcase, might look like a little backpack. Maybe you have a little wallet. Maybe it's a pack that's so big it takes up your whole back. But where do you have a backpack of pain, of of fear that you have been carrying around. A backpack of fear or pain that you have been carrying around. You might have been carrying it for lifetimes. You might have just been like, huh, wow, I didn't know I was carrying that. And if you don't know, feel free to just be like, I'm not sure, I think it's, because it doesn't have to be on your back. So when I ask where my backpack is down on my sacrum. And what we're going to do is we're going to use all these frequencies that are here in the container, here in the class, to transform that backpack. And it just like transforms, right? You add enough light to a low frequency like pain, and it transforms into a higher frequency, and you no longer have that. So, yeah, Janelin, we get what we need, not what we want. It is so freaking true. In all cases, we get what we need. Our higher self is not particularly interested if we're having a good time, but we always get exactly what we need. So Janelin, sternum, yep. Jill, you got a nice backpack in that third eye. Trisha on her left arm. Ooh, Trisha, yours is kind of cool, Trisha. It sort of looks like like an arm backpack. That's pretty cool. And Judy in your left chest. Yep. Yeah, lots of, we just carry these things around. It's the part that I find most fascinating about healing is the things that we have been carrying around, probably for lifetimes, but we have no awareness of them. We are here on planet Earth, where it's a pretty low frequency planet, and so we do not have access to the energetic pieces all the time, and sometimes our higher self doesn't, it doesn't bother our higher self if they know whether we have an awareness of it or not. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and transform more of those. Pamela says, in the stiffness in your back and left hip. Yep, Pamela, you actually have two of them. And if anybody just went, hey, I want to move a second one, happy to oblige. There is plenty of healing to go around. So, Pamela, yours is in, it's a lot in your left side and then down in the hip as well. There's a lot of fear there. We all have loads and loads of fear. There's no shortage of fear here on the planet. It sometimes looks like fear of not being enough, fear of not having enough, fear of speaking out, fear of not having enough time. There's a lot of it. So Kate says in her womb and pelvic floor and left ovary. Ooh, what a good one, left ovary. Nice. Good job, Kate. Jill, backpack of pain in her left shoulder. Yeah. Jill, you make me laugh. I just saw when I took a look at Jill's backpack, it's like she just grabbed a hold of it and threw it down on the ground and said, I'm done with this. So, and if this seems a little odd, it's okay. After a while, you'll be like, oh, yeah, this is really good. I like this. I want to get rid of more of that. Judy says, it's interesting that a lot of it's on the left side. Why is that? It's where it landed. So there's a lot of ideas out there. When I first started doing healing work, I followed, what's her name? Wow, just like that. Ding. Louise Hay. I used to love Louise Hay, and she did a lot of like, oh well, if your knee is bothering you, it's about moving forward, and I can't remember all of them. If it's the right side, it means this, and it's the left side, it means that. And for me, it is the left side for you, Judy, because that's where you had a lot of other things happening. And so it's kind of like water, whatever that saying is. I'm doing really well tonight. Seeks its own level, like it always goes to where it is the lowest point in your body. So low frequencies on your left side, you got a lot of them there at the moment. But, no worries. Keep doing this and you'll be like, oh, now it's my right side, or oh, now it's my, right big toe, or it's running right down a line in the middle of my body. So, speaking of that, because I'm sitting here looking at different people in the container, I see that everybody has a I'm always like, when there's new people, I'm kind of like, okay, here you go. Everybody has a dagger of sorts. It's an energetic dagger in their bodies that's running down their midline. You might have one towards the top of your head. You might have one more in your neck or in the middle of your back. There is one in everybody, and because I just was aware of them, we're going to go ahead and move them. We don't leave those things just hanging out in your body. No need for them. And if you want to know where they came from, you all have lived many, many lifetimes, and people have stabbed you in many, many lifetimes, either energetically or physically, and you've been carrying around those wounds, those remnants for a long time. And it's one of the reasons why your higher self was like, oh, there I go, I'm raising my hand again. Your higher self was like, yes, why don't you go to that healing circle and move some more of those. So it's all good. Okay. Janelyn says left is past life, or so she thought. And it's okay if that's your perspective, if that's how your higher self shows it to you. I actually, for the longest time, probably 3-4 years, every reference I got was in terms of Disney. So when somebody asked, like, the question of where a backpack would be, I'm like, oh, there we go. Ding, ding, ding. Watch me do all this stuff. Hey, G. When somebody would ask a question like, where is the backpack? In me, I might see a Mickey Mouse on a backpack. Like, I got tons of Disney references. So however it shows up for you, trust how your higher self is giving you the information, right? I'm just here kind of guiding us along. You get to be the first and last word in your healing and what works for you and how things show up and what a message means. So don't let anybody tell you any different. Okay. Page 77, I'm over there. Now, the field that you stood in was comprised of many things: the artifacts or memories of personal history and the residual effect of choices made by others throughout time. That dagger that we took out just a couple minutes ago was an example of an artifact, just in case you wanted a place for it in the text. The one who harmed you as a child was provoked to that harm through his or her own history. and the idea of culpability and blame begins to vanish in a certain way when you understand that the genesis of any act of harm provoked by fear is the implicit denial of the divine. Provoked by fear, right? So somebody who harmed you was harmed. They had fear. They saw things as separate, that there was no God, there to protect them. And so they are creating exactly what they experienced. Now, indeed, you are responsible for your acts. I love that they say that. You are responsible to your acts, but to claim another in darkness because of his or her acts is to deem them as separate. And if you wish to claim everyone who ever harmed you, known and unknown, in this field, and claim the offering we offered you, behold, I make all things new. God is, God is, God is. You will see the light that was present in them, that was so denied that they could cause such harm. In this act, you release them and liberate yourself from the residual effect of your claim of their act. I go, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. The minute that you can see them in their light, that you can see that they are still of God, you release them and you liberate yourself from all of the residual claim. It's like, yes, this is the answer we have been waiting for. And then if you're with me long enough, you know that I love when the guides say, now we will say this to Paul. We know you have questions. We are taking them as we understand them, but please let us resume as we wish. Because Paul is a normal guy. He's just a guy that has an agreement to channel Melchizedek and do these books. He's just a normal guy, and I love it every time they put that in one of the books, because it's like, he's just normal. He really is. And Judy and I got to see him in Costa Rica. He's as normal a person as can be. And even to the point of being like, I'm just the person who's here channeling. I don't know what's going on. I am a student of this work, and it's totally fabulous how that shows up. So they continue, the memory of any pain can be reknown. Reknown, it's a frequency. Known is a frequency. Every time you speak the word known, every time you hear the word known, you can be aware that there is a frequency there being spoken, starting to transform things. So pain can be reknown. Find a place where you have some pain, and let's transform more of it. You can ask, where do I have some pain? Now, your personality or your small self might be like, oh my God, yes, the pain that I have been radiating back here in my brainstem, I'd like to move that. That's okay. And you might be like, I really want to get this pain in my brainstem worked on, but like for me right now, I feel like it's right here in my third eye. And if you're like me, a long time ago, I didn't believe I had a third eye, but you do. It's an energetic piece of anatomy. So, okay, left lower back around the hip and into the left ovary. Awesome place. Awesome place. So we'll work on that. It's one of the reasons why I have a healing team here. My healing team goes around and goes, yes, let's work on more of that. Trisha says, under her left rib. Any of that pain Stuff that you're like, I am done with this. I like to have more of that pain in my left foot arch of my left foot. There we go. Yeah. Jill, we got your stomach. Simi, hi there. Left hip and lower back. Happy to work on that too. So, as you read any of the books by the guides, let me give you 3 frequencies that they talk about a lot, so that you know that as you're reading the book, when you see any version of this word, you know that you are getting a healing. You can stop and you can ask, so what's being worked on? And see if you get an answer. You might feel some heat in a particular part of your body, like, you're like, oh, my left elbow, it just got really warm, and you can know that that is what's being worked on. You might have an awareness that just shows up like information that drops in. I call that claircognizance. It just drops in and you're like, oh, it's my left ankle. And you're just like, okay, it's my left ankle, and I keep reading. The first frequency is reclamation. Reclamation is a lime green frequency. Came onto the planet probably like 2 years ago now. But anytime they talk about reclaiming, they often talk about reclamation. Somewhere in this text, they actually use the word reclaiming the reclamation or something. Maybe it was somewhere. Maybe it was in the next piece that I was doing. But in the middle of page 79, they say, to reclaim them is an act of love. Reclamation. Reclamation is an amazing frequency. What it does is it helps us move more of the places where we think that energy isn't real. And most of us have loads and loads of that energy that says energy isn't real. I call it atheist energy because the atheist is that there is no God, and if there is no God, there is no energy, there's nothing to work with. But reclamation is the frequency that it works on those places where the separation that we have going on, whether it's separation between people or separation from, me and my higher self. Reclamation, it's a lime green. The second frequency that you'll see a lot of in the books is the frequency of truth. And truth is a gold frequency. And of course, they talk a lot about truth and at the moment, like, all of my statements about truth just disappeared. Love is the only truth. And the third one to know is redemption. Redemption is a sky blue frequency, redeeming qualities, right? Can you look for the redemption in somebody? When you can see the redeeming qualities in somebody, you start to be able to see their truth. You start to be able to know that they are of God, right? Redemption. It's a sky blue. And then as we're sitting here, I mentioned that we're in a class. I call it a container. It's a big container that is wrapped in light. And there is a lot of the frequency of reconciliation that has been coming in for the last few minutes. If you notice that you're sitting there and you're like, whew, it is warm in here. Honey, turn down the heat. you might be experiencing any one of those frequencies that I was just talking about, but reconciliation frequency helps reconcile our bodies, our energetic bodies, our physical bodies, our mental bodies, our astral bodies to the truth of who we are. And so that is going on as well. Page 78. I love this. Most of you wish to blame, but pretend you don't. You wish to be sanctimonious in your behavior, but your heart speaks otherwise. To forgive another is to set the self free. Do you understand this? To punish another, to condemn another, to decide another is unworthy of the kingdom is to place yourself right in the middle of nothing. And by that we mean your choice to put another in darkness has confirmed your own place there. To damn another is to confirm your place right next to them. Lately, what my reference point has been is I see the person sitting in front of me, sitting in a chair, and there's a chair sitting right next to them with my name on it. It's like just my little key of like, oh, sure, if I'm going to condemn somebody, I'm going to be sitting right next to them. Make no mistake about it. And where did I see it? Pamela. The color of reconciliation is gold. Reconciliation and truth and alchemy, those are all in the gold spectrum. And it is a spectrum, and you know, if I were into all the colors and stuff like that, I might be able to describe the difference. I just make them really simple, right? It's in the gold spectrum. Love is in the rose pink quartz spectrum. Devotion is in the rose pink quartz spectrum. Yes, there's a difference in their colors if you were to see them, but we just put it in the easy category. Gold, reconciliation. Janelyn, I love you. I am so terrible with this. I can rationalize a serial killer, but not someone who pisses me off. It's fabulous. How many people feel that way? Oops, I'm not supposed to raise my hand. All of a sudden you're going to go, oh my God, it makes you think yeah, of course, right? Of course, I can forgive somebody who has done really heinous things. But yeah, when somebody pisses me off, you're on my shit list for a while. And I have to work at seeing the divinity in them. And here's my trick. Might not work for you, but I start asking myself, where is it in me that what is pissing me off about them, where is that in me? Because more than 9 times out of 10, when somebody pisses me off about something, it's because they are busy being my mirror. They're busy showing me what I need to work on. And then I can just at least be pissed off that like, okay, so I still got more work to do. Might work for you, might not. But if we can forgive somebody, if you have somebody that you would like to forgive tonight, if there's somebody that you're like, okay, I'm finally ready to forgive them, please know that that's available for you here in this container, but it's available for you at any time. You can just let it go and trust that as you let go of whatever has aggravated you, that the high frequencies come in and start filling in the spaces. And before long, you start going, I don't even know why they really pissed me off. I mean, they didn't piss me off that much, because the higher frequencies are starting to fill in the spaces where the low frequencies were. And then you let it go, and off it all goes. It gets transformed. So yeah, it's fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous. So as we've been talking, we have been working on clearing those blocks that each of us has to seeing other people in their light. If you have somebody that you're like, oh no, 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 I really need to work on this person, that you're just like, no, I can still get that there's a block. You can feel free to put it in the chat, but you can also feel free to just offer it up. Yes, okay. Offer it up to the altar. There is a altar of violet flame that is always available in every one of the healing circles I do and the classes I teach. It is a violet flame is the frequency of transformation, and it's an energetic flame that you can just throw all your nonsense that you don't want anymore into it. It's like a great big bonfire. And I have many friends that started calling me Bon or Bon Bon, so I always joke, yeah, it's a bonfire. Feel free to throw more stuff on there. If you're holding any, I said I was going to not do that in 2026, and I have. Feel free to throw that on the flame. You don't need to carry that around. If you're aware of any other backpacks you have, or, angers, old grief, feel free to throw that on the flame as well, because this is a healing opportunity. It's always available for you. Here's my question for you.
Wait, Bonnie, can I interrupt you for a second? I have a question.
100%.
Okay. Okay. So if I take this thing that I no longer want or want to feel, or I'm angry at this person or whatever it is, and
Sure.
I throw it on the bonfire, how can I reclaim it? Because I'm throwing it away.
So,
Does it make sense?
yeah. So it's an idea you have that you're throwing it away, because what you're doing is you're releasing it rather than throwing it away. So you're releasing it into the flame. It's being transformed. So it's like, this is the low frequency. Here's the violet flame, and it is lifting up the whatever it is, lifting it up above where it was. So it no longer looks like what it did.
Okay, so it's not like I'm throwing it away because I don't want to deal with it anymore. It's always a part of me. It's just loosening, transforming into something else.
Yeah, loosening up that the hard spots of it, the places where you're triggered. Like, to me, the goal is to be as neutral about things as possible. Instead of me, like, every time I see that person, I'm like, you were the one who blah, 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 blah. I want to be like, yeah, God, you did me dirty, but God, I love you now. Or maybe you did me dirty and I can be in the same room with you, whatever that happens to look like, for sure. But I love that you bring that up, because when I first started doing healing work, we used to sit in class and we used to be like, be gone, and like throwing stuff, and we were making jokes about it. And our teacher, her name was, it is still a teacher, Karen, she would like, y'all, you need to understand that you're not just playing with that. Like when you go be gone, you are actually throwing stuff out, and you can't do that energetically. You need to lift it up. And in fact, there are some people who do that when they say they cut the cords energetically. They cut cords. You're like, no, no, no. Let's not cut cords anymore. Now you just transform the cords, okay? Because when you cut them, it's kind of like throwing them away, right? There's trash. I've cut them, now there's trash. Let's just transform them. Let's lift up those cords, see them as of God, and let them be transformed. Great question. Great question. Okay, here's my question for you down at the bottom of page 79. We would like you all to take a moment now and sit with the self and ask this question. Are there any aspects of my being that are capable of hatred, capable of judgment, capable of murder, or any other thing you can think of? I'm like, sure. I never know what situation I might be in. I mean, capable of murder does not necessarily mean like that, I'm plotting somebody's death. It could be just that something happens and someone dies at my hand. So I had to go, oh yeah, and I'm definitely capable of judgment. Oh my gosh, so much judgment. Let me tell you about New Year's Eve in my house. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. We were watching television and I had a lot of judgment about that. So, gentlemen, I was just about to, you disappeared. So if you say yes to the fact that you are capable of hatred, capable of judgment, capable of murder, or anything else, here's what you can say. And I'm happy to speak it for everybody. You can speak it after me as it works for you. On this day, I claim that any aspect of my being in denial of its true nature, hidden from the light, and the source of greed or fear will be reclaimed. Any aspect of self that breeds violence will now be reknown as of God, chosen anew, re-identified, and brought to the light so it may be known. And they say, again now see yourself in a field and see these aspects of self that are within you also surrounding you, and align them to the divine nature that must be all things. You may say these words if you wish. I am free, I am free, I am free. I am in the upper room. I have come, I have come, I have come. And to your own creations, now you say this. Behold, I make all things new. God is, God is, God is. And allow the vibration of the divine to release you from what you have denied, from what you have invoked in fear, and what you may provoke in action through acquiescing to the deed that they endeavor to make. We say this to each of you now, and we support you in this through our claims on your behalf. You have come, you have come, you have come. We see you in the upper room. Behold, I make all things new. God is, God is, God is. And I always love the, it will be so. God is, God is, God is. Now, you may take a couple moments to just sort of tune into your body. What are you aware of? What are you feeling? Do you notice a little bit of warmth? Perhaps you notice a little bit of cold. Maybe you have a tingling sensation, or you have something just feel like it's falling away. You feel free to put it in the chat. I love hearing all the different ways that people experience the claims of truth. Sometimes feel really old when I say that. God is, God is, God is. Such a simple claim. Nice. Judy says, cold hands, whoosh of energy from toes to the head. Yeah, so the cold is just as valid as feeling the heat. Often the cold is the low frequencies going out, and then the warmth or the high frequencies coming in. You can experience it in a lot of different ways. I've had like weeks, the last 3 weeks, like almost every day, starting about 4 o'clock, it's like I get really cold. Now I'm in South Florida and it's like 75, 80 degrees outside, and I'm inside where it's 74 degrees and I am freezing, like long shirt, sweatshirt, under a blanket, really cold. And I try to remember to like throw off all those clothes, put on my tennis shoes and go out for a walk. But it can be really, really cold. And that is a good thing because the low frequencies are leaving and the high frequencies are coming in. Nature hates a vacuum. If you're cold, it means low frequencies are going out and the high frequencies must be coming in to take their place. So there is no vacuum. So it is really a good thing. And it's kind of fun to start, like, as you read a claim of truth, to have that awareness of, oh, look at that. Look what's happening. Then you're like, oh, yay, something is happening. Okay, let's see. Okay, everybody is getting a gift, and I'm having this whole conversation with my higher self, like, man, why don't y'all prep me for all this stuff? So your gift is everybody's got a box, like a gift box, and your gift box can look like different things. You may notice something different in the gift box. I was having a challenge with the whole, like, which was the box and which was the thing in the box. So you have a gift box. You might be aware of the box, what the box looks like. Like maybe you're like, ooh, I've got a yellow box. Or you might have an awareness of what's in the box. So inside the box, you may have an orb, like a sphere. You may have a star. You might have flowers. Your higher self might show you a lot of different things. Like you could have a puppy in the box, right? There's no rules about what is inside the box, except that your higher self is giving you the information. Now, when I look at my box is a blue box. It's kind of like the color of my cup. And it's a blue box and it has a pink bow on it, a very bright pink bow. And when I take the box out and I look inside, there is nothing inside the box. But when I look inside the box, I feel like there's a spray of frequencies that comes up, and so that's perfect. There's no rules about how any of this works, because it's your higher self that gets to dictate what it is. But you can hold out your hand and know that the box is in your hand. And once you know the box is in your hand, whether you have an awareness of what it is or not, you can place that box wherever you want to place it. And once again, this is about following the guidance of your true self, divine self, higher self, whatever you would like to call that. So mine is going back here on my brainstem. That's the place that has been making me a little crazy since we started. So you just go, okay. And if you feel a little odd, got it. I used to feel really odd. I used to be like, oh my God, this stuff is so freaking weird. And now I'm like, ooh, I get a gift. Here, give me a gift. I want another gift. It's all perfect. If you're busy driving somewhere and you don't have a hand, you don't have an ability, trust that your higher self gathered a gift. Trust me, your higher self is like, oh, I'm on this. So, before I end, I'm telling you people, you can't make this stuff up. In case you didn't know, you can take any one of the books that Paul Selig has channeled, and they all are filled with healing. Like you could literally go like this, and you're giving yourself a healing. They are encoded with healing alchemy. All of the books, every one of them, doesn't matter who owned them before or what they went through, doesn't matter if it's this book in the physical, if it's a Kindle, if it's on Audible, all of them are encoded with healing. You cannot listen to them, read them, experience them in any way without getting a healing. It's part of what makes them very unique. When Judy and I were in Costa Rica, Paul said, name one author who has put out 12 books where there's never been a typo in any of the books. There was never a mistake from the time it was dictated to the time it was published. 100% accurate. All of these books, they're encoded with healing. Trust them. So our next discussion that we're going to have, which is on someday, it's in 2 weeks. I could have sworn I wrote this stuff down. On the 19th, for goodness sakes. On the 19th, we'll be back here. And we're going to be doing the Book of Freedom. I will again give you the pages so that if you want to read them, it's page 121 through, it's the beginning of chapter 4 to 127, which is at the end of the page. It says pause down here at the end of the page. And there's an exercise that if you would like to do, I think it's really cool. It's about claiming your divine self, knowing that you are word, divinity, and form. And it's just really, it's really freaking cool. So that's what we're going to be doing. And if in any time between now and then you are having an experience, you are having a challenge, you suddenly are like, oh my gosh, my head hurts and I don't know what to do, please feel free to text me, to WhatsApp me, to send me a message on Facebook. That's what I'm here for. And yes, this is 100% free. Completely free. Text me. That's what I'm here for. I get texts from students. I get texts from my loved ones. I get texts from lots of people, and I love helping people when they're struggling with something. And if you have a question that you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to remember this in 2 weeks, text me. And trust that if you just speak it into the field, like you could be like, yo, Bonnie, could you help me? Trust that I've heard you, that you are going to get exactly what you need. See, Janeline's like, yeah, I called out to you at 5 a.m. I get that stuff, man. I totally get it. And I'm here for you. Whatever you need, I'm here for you. Now I'm going to be putting stuff on WhatsApp. If you are already on WhatsApp, And you can find me there. If I send out emails, if that's your jam, I can send you emails. My daughter-in-law has like 8,000 emails in our email box, so I would never send her an email. But if that's your jam, let me know. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. I am going to be posting this up on YouTube. I will post the link in WhatsApp and on Facebook. It's just like endless. Just if you have a question, please, please, please feel free to text me. Any questions right now? Any last comments? Any last healing? Like, oh my God, before we go, could you fix this problem in my toe? I must have toe issues today. Happy to help. Happy to help. Awesome. So now I'm going to seal the field unto the light of that one true source creator God, the one who is all the magic, all the love, all the redemption, all the reclamation, all the good stuff. And I thank my healing team. I thank my support teams. I thank Melchizedek, Mariah, and the luminaries. And most of all, I thank each and every one of you, because I understand there's 10 things at least you could have done tonight, and you decided to come here and play with energy and be willing to expose yourself to something new and different. And if you have any comments or questions, ways to do any of this better, I'm open to that, okay? Let me know. And if you think I talk too fast, let me know that too. All right, all good? We're all good. Lots of love to you all. With that, I say amen and aho. I just completely love and bless each and every one of you. And if there's anything I can do, let me know. Have a great evening.